outstanding job in his presentation. A local boy from Nambe, you know, who is able to relate to our students, who talked about, okay, where are the students from Pecos? Where are the students from Tezuque? Where are the, you know, he was able to get them all excited and relating to where they're from and which high schools they attended, and how we're so proud that they came here to finish up their certificates and degrees. So he did a bang-up job, and then, you know, all of the students that we had graduating were impressive. Always we celebrate with them, and thank you for the role you play. So are we ready for this? Let me get down because I can't see it. Yes, here we are, and I already did this, so hooray. Yes. We were going to do a look back, but we're not, correct? It's ready? I touched on these things. That way it was reinforced by the video here, you know. And so, as I said, welcome to spring semester. So some of the things that are coming up during spring semester, I'm sorry, include we're finalizing our accreditation report that is due on March 1. More on that later. We are working on the design of our automotive training center, and hope to have the groundbreaking later this spring semester. We are working on developing our budget, and we're in much better shape than we have been in the past, correct, Mr. Budget? We are lobbying with our legislators for additional revenue to help us with some capital requests. And when we met with, where did Linda go? I was going to introduce Linda. She was right there, and now she's gone. Linda came in, Linda Siegel, our board chair, came in during the little video, and maybe she went to get something to eat. So when she comes back in, we'll give her an applause. But she and Todd Lovato and I went with our lobbyist, Dan Najjar, to talk with the legislators last week and presented our capital requests of just over $600,000, and they didn't blink. You know, this is a good budget year. They said it was doable. They were supportive, and they even asked if we had more that we might be able to present in terms of under the governor's capital legislative budget. So we're working on that. We have a couple of top priorities. We're getting ready for our spring student celebrations, and of course, we'll have graduation in May again. Before that, we are going to have a word from Terrence about our professional development day in March. So, as always, we'll have a packed semester, spring semester of 2019. So, as we begin the spring semester, it's wonderful to have all of you back on campus as we prepare for our students to arrive next Tuesday, the 22nd. And there's some new faces, and some of you have new responsibilities. So if you are new to Santa Fe Community College since August, or if you have a new role since August, would you please stand and introduce yourself? And there are microphones coming around so that you can introduce yourselves. And before we do that, please welcome Ms. Linda Siegel, our board chair. Thank you for being here, Linda. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Stacy Wiley. I'm a new counselor here, and I'm thrilled to be here. I'm from New Orleans. Karen Pittman, I'm a new project manager in the plant operations management.
Julia Furry, I'm the director for the automotive program.
Megan McGarity, ooh, I'm loud. I'm the new interim director at the Higher Education Center.
Kyle Cole, new faculty, EMSI.
Hey.
My name's Owen Stenzel. I work in EMSI also.
Hold on.
Myself or Kyle? Me? Yeah, my name's Owen Stenzel, and I am in EMSI. I'm the clinical coordinator there.
Welcome, Owen.
Thank you.
Welcome, both of you.
Thanks. Brian Earl, I'm in the culinary program. I'm the new culinary technician working with these two.
And now over here.
I'm Tricia Cattell. I am moving from the TACT grant to the enterprise application analyst in IT.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sean Fisher, the new OIT service desk supervisor.
Hi. I've moved from the SunPath TACT grant to I'm now managing the adult education department, academic career education department within adult ed.
Good morning. My name is David Jones, and I'm the technician in the media arts department and also take care of the tutoring for that department as well, all the Lowell employees. And I've been here since August.
Welcome, all.
Morning, everybody. I'm A.B. Torres. I'm an adjunct instructor for CEA and the master's program and one of the technicians.
Hi, good morning. My name is Pedro Casas. I've been here for a year already as an adjunct professor, and now I became the manager for the greenhouse, the new greenhouse.
Okay, welcome.
Hi, I'm Trish Newman. I'm the executive assistant to the governing board.
Welcome, Trish.
Good morning. My name is Joseph Montoya, and I'm in the Building Trades and Technology, new instructor.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Dan Miller. I'm the new Director of Marketing and Communications.
Welcome, Dan. Anybody else? Marcos, you got a new role.
So good morning. My name is Marcos Maes. I was the former recruitment and outreach director. Now I'm the director of recruitment and dual credit.
Thank you. Great. Welcome to each and every one of you, and congratulations on your new role. And thank you so much for all you do and will do for SFCC, our students, faculty, staff, and community. So, recognizing our coworkers for their service to our students and to one another is a motivating force that helps us maintain a more effective, more creative, and more cohesive and committed team. Thank you to everyone who submitted nominations for your colleagues to be recognized. Those who received a WOW or a Pass It Forward award, please stand and be recognized. Stand up, and there's 3 pages. The names are on the screen, but we want to recognize you in person. So this is the first page. Stand up, everybody. Here's the second page. Stand up. And here's the third. Vaughn, why aren't you standing? I see names, and I don't see people standing. And third page. Okay. Oh, you know what? I got it all mixed up. The first one was the WOW and Pass It Forward, and then we also had a lot of people who were nominated for Kindness is Key. Excuse me, I knew there was a lot of recognitions. And of course, the new initiative which our governing board adopted last spring, and it was later adopted by the city of Santa Fe, encourages us to be kind to each other and to recognize acts of kindness. They are presented with a key that recognizes the act of kindness. And those who have received a kindness key, please stand. I'm sorry that I jumped the gun on this, but I think you saw. Let me go back. Okay, there was the wow that we did. There's the first page of kindness is key. There's the second page of kindness is key. And there's the third page of kindness is key. Yay. And many folks were recognized multiple times, but there were a total of 32 individual people who recognized. So thank you, thank you. Next, I do ask that Ms. Linda Siegel come forward and update you on the board's activities regarding priorities. Oh, yes, you do.
Well, welcome everyone. It's great to see everybody here for our new semester. I've just come from the Capitol, the legislature, where the legislature meets and the governor has her office now, where the Legislative Finance Committee and the Legislative Education Committee were releasing their budget for the next fiscal year. And it's such a brighter outlook, as you all know, because we do have money, even though it's not necessarily recurring money, but there's a whole new energy up there in support of public education and higher education. And you know that we've had some hard years with having budget cuts from the state and having to implement our own budget cuts. So the future is much brighter, but it doesn't relieve us from the responsibility of making some shifts and changes in our ideas and how we approach things. And that's what the board did with our retreat back in October, thank you. Everything rolls together now. And we came up with some visions for the college that some of them are what we're already working on, but having a more concise and dedicated, focused direction to take those visions. Because the reality is, throughout our state, 90% of all the colleges and universities enrollment is declining. And there are legitimate economic reasons for that. But we're coming into a new economy that requires a lot of different education and training. And we need to be addressing that in a larger way. And we're also looking at growing populations and bringing people back to New Mexico. We're one of the few states that had outward migration. And we are going to have to build our economy and change our economy so that millennials will want to stay and so that people will actually want to move to Albuquerque and Santa Fe and Las Cruces and other parts of the state. So these are our ideas that we came up with, and how we want to see them come to fruition is by directing administration to give us some ideas and plans, and for us to be involved at the high level where board members should be involved. We're not down in the detail area, and look at what we can do with these. Now, we already know that we're working on the pathways and the meta-major process, but we want to get a new focus around that, a new sense of urgency, so that every student who comes here, we can try to help them get that degree in a timely manner and identify that degree where they think that there's opportunity for work or for further education. You've been working on this already, the student-centered culture. But we need to infuse that into everything. and making everything we do student-focused and making it easier for the student. When we all looked at how you have to apply for the Pell Grant and how you have to apply to even be in the college, it's like, oh my God, I couldn't even do this anymore. So everything we do, we've got to make it as easy and as transparent for students coming to the campus. Developing the Santa Fe College Promise. This is one of the things we talked about. How can we make sure everybody has the money that they need to pay for tuition, to pay for fees, to pay for books? And we want to look at, and actually we're introducing a bill in this legislative session to ask for some money from the legislature, we'll see if we get that, but to create our own College Promise program. And our president is going to be constituting a committee to look at how that should work. Who should we target? We know we have a lot of scholarships out there. In fact, the lottery scholarship, there are already several pieces of legislation introduced to shore up the lottery scholarship and change how it works a little bit to make it more effective. There are 2 or 3 other scholarship bills. So legislators are concerned about finding ways to help people get to college and get out of college with the degree they want. So we're working that on our own. And then create a culture of reaching out to our community. A lot of us on the board, we have connections in the community. You all have connections in the community. How can we really focus that and do more outreach to bring people here to see what we're doing, to let individuals know that they can come and take courses here, even if they don't want a degree, to really change our culture of how we're integrated into the community, and to also help our foundation board and Deborah Bolt raise more money for us and for the campus and for students. And then, I think you've been working on this some, but create a really clear mechanism for curriculum redesign that addresses the workforce, and for those of us on the board also addresses cultural issues, so that we are really integrating different lifestyles, different cultures, different everything into the curriculum, so it becomes relevant to each of our students. And so this will be our ambitious tasks over the next year or so, and I know that Dr. Romero is going to talk about our progress with the presidential search. So thank you all very much for being here, and we all look forward to a new day of increased finances for both public education and higher education. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Linda, for being our leader on the governing board and for your conveying this vision that's so important that the governing board has, and it's up to us then to put it into action, and we will be doing that, we promise you. Thank you. As Ms. Siegel said, I was going to say a couple of words on this real quick, that the Santa Fe College Promise is high on our agenda in order to come up with more funds for students to come to school. That's just a really big challenge for them, to have enough resources to come to college. So we are excited about this initiative, and it was brought forward by our governing board, particularly George Gamble and Fred Nugent, who is a board member on the foundation board, and then a colleague of theirs, Joe Dubray. And they did a lot of research for about 1.5 years on this. They're quite a team. They shared the concept with multiple constituencies and based their model on a national concept. And so we're grateful to them. So as Linda said, we're going to ask the legislature for an appropriation in the meantime, so that it can fund the College Promise, and in the meantime, we need to further develop the concept so that we have all the details worked out once we get that money. And I am going to form a small task force to assist in putting the College Promise into action. And if any of you might be interested in serving on that task force, please let Donna Wells know, because we need to start very soon, and I want to put that task force together. Next, as Linda said, Dr. Martha Romero will update us on the presidential search.
Thank you, Cecilia. Good morning. You all look ready for a bright new future? I saw a lot of students out there this morning, and I'm hoping that they were just as excited as all the rest of us seem to be. So the presidential search. Just let me, first of all, I want to thank the staff that is supporting the presidential search committee. TD Terrence Donaldson. I don't know if the rest of you call him TD yet, but some of us do. And Donna Wells. They are really in charge of all of the logistics and all of the campus, the campus logistics that need to happen in order to bring candidates to the campus. So just a reminder, I think I went through this the last time. The search committee is made up of community members, faculty members, student, staff members, and community members. So, and then administrators. And they were all chosen in a process that was vetted with all of the different groups. So that's who's working for us. There were, I can tell you, 91 applicants for the position, which is quite high. Of those, 64 were met the qualifications, the minimum qualifications. So the search committee's first task, after they signed their confidentiality agreement. So just so you all know, they are bound by a confidential agreement that they signed in order to keep the process contained. Many times candidates will apply, but they don't want their campus to know yet. And you know that as word gets out, that can happen, especially if you're looking for somebody. So they signed their confidentiality agreement and then had 64 resumes, letters of application, nomination letters from other people who might have sent in for the candidates. So they had a huge amount of work to do before the December holidays. That's been done. They have selected 10 semifinalists and 2 alternates to come for interviews. Now, the semifinalists are still not publicly announced. You won't probably even know that they're here. They're coming toward the end of the month to interview with the search committee. The search committee and the consultants have been designing a set of questions that they want to ask every candidate. After that deliberation, the search committee will announce will send to the board 5 finalists, the names of 5 finalists. By New Mexico law, we have to have 5 finalists, and at that point, they have to be publicly announced. So sometimes at that point, even though the consultants have been very clear with the candidates that this happens at that point, eventually, sometimes, somebody will decide that they don't want their name made public, and they might withdraw at that point. So, all these ripples kind of keep working at us. So when the semifinalists are here, they will meet with the committee, and then the committee will deliberate and decide who to forward. When we have the finalists here, after they've been announced, and we have them here, we will have interviews with the board, and then each of the candidates will have a chance to have an open forum where anybody can come. Community members can come, faculty members can come, staff members can come, administrators can come. Board members might come, but probably at that point we will have had our day in the sun with them. And students, absolutely, and students will be able to come as well. There will be some kind of an evaluation form for you to give us kind of feedback. You know, what did you see as the pluses and minuses? And after that, and after our review of that, the board will select one, and that person then goes into a lot of more formal vetting. So there will be, you know, background checks of all kinds, criminal background checks, financial background checks. It's amazing the amount of work that goes into background checks on the candidate. And Academic Search will be doing that. So that's part of the appeal that we had from this search firm, is that they do very comprehensive reference checks. Following that, we are now at the end of March probably. The board will begin, if the candidate that they selected as a first choice or second choice is ready to work with the board on designing a contract. That'll be the next process, and then the board will publicly vote on the candidate. So that's a long-winded kind of storm. But you know, it takes, every day I have at least 2 phone calls I have to deal with that have to do with this. Linda Siegel and I are co-chairing for the board, and Terrence is the person who is really chairing the committee and the committee meetings. So he and Donna are working together on that as well. So my thanks to both of you, and my thanks to the committee that's working so hard. I really appreciate all the work you've already done and the work you're about to embark in. And we'll be waiting for your results. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Romero, for that very comprehensive review of the process. And I think everybody really understands where we are now and where we're going. So thanks again. Part of our strategic plan, and a very important element, is student wellness. And that is a new strategic KPI that will help us to learn more about students' needs outside of academic programs by encouraging students to take the Student Wellness Needs Assessment Survey. So here is Senior Counselor Janelle Johnson to tell you a little bit more about it. Janelle.
I was going to say good morning, but it's almost good afternoon, but not yet. Anyway, so one of the strategic plan KPIs is student wellness. So it goes along with everything Linda was talking about earlier, because we're actually also looking at making a student community by looking at non-academic barriers to student success. So if you look nationally, this is kind of on the forefront of a lot of community colleges, looking at kind of more of a community school model where we look at other things that might be barriers to students completing and staying in college. Some of those can be things like food insecurity, transportation needs, caring for parents or children, different kinds of things as far as for our adult population, testing if they've never had testing for learning disabilities, things of that nature. So our student wellness survey is really short and sweet. It's on SurveyMonkey, and they should have got a link that goes out to it today. But we want to let all the faculty and staff know so that you will encourage students to take that survey, and it will be open until the end of the month. So we're really excited to be looking at some of these other areas where we can support students. So please, it's a link that they're going to get. It's SurveyMonkey. So they're going to get it through their student email. And also when students come in the first week of school at some of our welcome tables, we will have some computers set up where we can also get students to take it. So thank you.
Thank you, Janelle. Please encourage students to take the survey. Another piece of student wellness that we're offering again this spring semester is the VIVA program. And VIVA emerged due to the requests of students who wanted to utilize the fitness center at no cost. And so a team from the Wellness Center and student services and others put together the VIVA program in the fall semester. And it does allow full-time students taking 12 credits or more to utilize the fitness center, and they can utilize the fitness center Monday through Thursday, 1 to 6 p.m., or all day on Friday. The fall pilot was a success, so we're continuing it into the spring at the support of fitness center staff. They've been super to assist us in working things out. It's encouraging a healthy lifestyle. It helps to manage stress, and it helps students to succeed in their academic program by staying fit. So in the fall, we had 164 unique or individual student visits, a total of over 1,200 student visits during the 16-week 2018 fall semester. So encourage your students to sign up for Viva. All they have to do is, if they're a full-time student of 12 credits, is just do a sign up through a liability form, just to waive liability, and that's it. And then they can go in and start using the new and improved fitness center. You'll hear more about that shortly. Next, I welcome Cami and Noah to share the details about our upcoming February 13 active shooter drill.
Thank you. I was going to start off by saying what's going to happen February 13th, but she gave it away. And yeah, we're scheduled for February 13th, and we're going to have an active shooter drill. And it's going to be a first of its kind, mainly because we're going to involve students. In the past, no university or college has ever, high schools have, but colleges or universities have not involved their students in shooter on campus drills. So there'll be a first. The other first will be that the county and the city will be working together, and according to them, they never have worked together. That's why it's and they freely admit it. Anyway, so they're gonna work together, mainly because we're in a county, and then the city is going to be able to respond faster. So, but they're going into some new training themselves. It's a nationwide training, which is now, in the past, people went in, law enforcement went in and stabilized the area or secured the area before the EMTs or the emergency people came in. Now, nationwide, they're doing both at the same time. The cops go in, and the emergency people go to help the injured. So that's a first. And the student involvement is the first too. So it's a series of first things, training. So hopefully we can have some nice, organized chaos, so that things will work freely. But of course, the county emergency people says you don't want it to go smoothly. You want it to, pick up some glitches here and there, so you learn from the whole thing. And emergencies are never organized, so that's the other thing. So, and then a lot of people have asked, how many of you were aware that we were going to have the training, the drill? A lot of you have already participated in some of the mini trainings that we've had along the way, kind of explaining more on what's going to happen. We're actually going to have some shooters from the county. I mean, they're going to have plastic guns. So there's not going to be any live ammunition, but there's going to be multiple shooters running around. There's going to be maybe different scenarios that people will be doing. We will get help from the executive team. We'll be monitoring the whole thing, and the CERT team. And we have our counselors are going to be involved too, mainly because if there's an incident or something that they need to take care of, somebody might freak out or something, we're taking care of that. So anyway, and people have asked, why do we do it? There's actually 3 goals. One is to provide realistic training for staff, students, and faculty. And providing realistic training will make you react a little better. At least you have something in the back of your mind that works when something happens, so an emergency comes up, or in this case, shooter on campus. The other one is to empower the community, the staff, and the students, since they had the basic training, empower them to take care of themselves. We can give you all the training we can, but it's up to you individuals to having the training, having that in the back of your mind saying, well, this is what we need to do. So, and for example, here in this, does everybody know where to go if there's an emergency or if there's a shooter? What do? There's all these exits here, all those exits there. So, in some cases, we've been teaching run, hide, fight. You don't really do it in that order. It just happens like here. You might skip the run, and you might skip the hide because there's no time. You might just go straight into fight. There's enough of us here that we can overwhelm the person, but you know that's easier said than done. The other goal we're trying to achieve is, of course, better collaboration with the law enforcement and the medical people, and having them know exactly where to go on campus. Like if we say, well, there's a shooter in the 800. If they don't know where to go, they go, where's the 800? So that's the other side of it is they're going to learn our campus, and they're going to be more familiar with what's happening so they know exactly where to go. The other thing that we need to do is, and we're going to ask your help, is we haven't reached all the students. So your first day of class, if you would, as part of the orientation, mention to your classes, February 13th, we're going to have a shooter on campus drill. That was just a little.
He's already reserved that date, yes.
So anyway, but and then somebody brought up the fact that, well, I will not have classes that day, which is fine, but you will have classes other days. So for your orientation, please tell your students this is what's happening. And if you need more training specifically, there's on the website we have the Run, Hide, Fight video. And of course we're available for that kind of training too. So that's briefly what we're going to be doing. So the idea is to figure out what will work best for your classroom in that time, and we're trying to work that out as far as we may, what we're thinking of doing is going up to your class and say, your class will do this, and you will lock down, or you will run. We're going to refrain from fight because, you know, but yeah. We're going to be doing more information, giving out more information, more detailed information for that day. So, and mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. We have 2 more coming in, one from the city and one from the county. So we'll have 4 for the event, and then but what we're going to do, and we'll talk about the timeline. But we're going to have a debriefing in this classroom for mainly law enforcement and the medical and the people that are participating, but for anybody else, staff and even students that want to come in, and we'll debrief on all that stuff for about 30 minutes. That'll be it after the drill. So. Yeah.
I was just going to say that this date, it's basically scheduled February 13th. From 9 to 11. So go about your day as normal. And just remember that at this time, we are going to have this drill. Like I said, I encourage everybody to attend and make sure that you are ready for this. This is going to be, like was brought up, a little traumatic for some, but at the same time, what we're trying to do is spread awareness and safety. That's the main thing. We want everybody to be aware. Hopefully, this situation never happens on our campus, but we want to be ready. And like you said, there's going to be hiccups along the way, but we're going to learn from those. We're going to learn, and we're going to strive forward to make this a successful drill. These, I tell my kids, you practice the way you play. So if you want to be a good player, you practice hard. And with these drills, we all need to participate. We all need to be aware what could happen. And everybody's going to bring to the table their opinions, their strategies, thoughts. How should it be done? That criticism is going to be taken constructively. And all of you are going to be heard.
And I remember the message after the Aztec tragedy. The faculty member, I think she was an IT faculty member, that was able to save and protect so many students. And it was because of practice, you know, that she kicked into gear and got all the students locked into a particular, I think, computer lab or a very small closet-like, and that saved many, many lives. So we've got to practice. Practice makes perfect. Practice helps us prepare for the future. So thank you very much, and the more information that you get out, the better. Thank you. Thank you, Cammie and Noe. Jeremy is going to update us on IT.
Thank you, Cecilia. Oh, that was intense. Well, you're a bit lucky this morning. I did ask for 6 slides. They're only allowing me 3, so I'll only take up half the time to talk about some tech talk over here. So the bullet points that I have behind me are, well, I guess first off, for those of you that are new or don't know me, my name is Jeremy Lovato. I'm the Chief Information Officer here at Santa Fe Community College. In that, I lead the IT team, and I lead the IT initiatives here at SFCC. So I'll go in and get started. So of these points, I'm going to jump into the NMICC and the SFCC ERP refresh initiative, as it's significant, and there's a lot of good progress and a direction that this has been going on in regard to collaboration internally here at SFCC, but collaboration as well as throughout the state of New Mexico with the independent community colleges. So just a quick journey through the SFCC piece of this. So in 2017, SFCC conducted what was a fit gap analysis. And essentially what we did is we interviewed users here on campus, identified what our expectations are and the needs of an ERP system, our banner, and a student information system. And then we looked at the system that we currently have and identified the gaps. So in assessing the gaps, assessing the high recurring costs, and also looking at the near expiration of the existing contract with the existing vendor, we decided let's take a step back and actually evaluate what it is we want to do here as a campus, and essentially go and explore all options as far as what other options do we have, what are the alternatives, prior to committing to a near decade-long renewal contract with the existing vendor. So we felt it was a logical step to take. And so after looking at this, what we explored and what we discovered was there's new entrants into this market. There's new entrants in the higher education software development for ERP and SIS. And they're driving innovation. And these are large, mature, well-established software development firms that are now playing in the higher education software development sector. And on top of this, they're actually driving the existing vendor to increase and enhance their product and enhance what they're doing for delivery to higher education, for student involvement, student-centered type of product development. And it's beautiful, in my opinion. It's like, I don't know, when PayPal revolutionized the online commerce industry in the late 90s. It's that exciting, I kid you not. Because we've been operating in a certain way, and now we're ready to give the students, give our employees more efficient and effective tools on how we can get them to where they need to get in a much more efficient and less confusing path. So Lo and behold, SFCC was not the only institution that was going down this route and exploring alternatives and other options. We have strong relationships with our New Mexico Independent Community College institutions around the state, and through many discussions, we decided to have some discussion around the ERP system. And the question came up, what if we were all in a common system that had and through this implementation had common business practices, common data architecture, common data reporting? This could build strong partnerships where we can actually support each other and the state of New Mexico students while maintaining our independence as independent community colleges. And so through continued discussions, we felt that this common venture was worth exploring. And so we went down the path of, again, collaborating with all the institutions. We did a technology assessment survey at each of the institutions. This was beyond the SFCC fit gap analysis we did here independently. We also looked at the total cost of ownership of the ERP systems that we have collaboratively at all the institutions, and the cost is not low. And then we also identified 3 possible paths forward on how we can accomplish this from a systems standpoint. But most importantly, we decided let's collaborate and go after legislative funding for this initiative to get us all on a common system. And at another time throughout the semester, I'll talk about some of the benefits and some of the challenges, but it is a lot. I think the pros definitely outweigh the cons in regard to this collaboration and what we can do for the state, for Santa Fe, and for the students within this state. And so I just got word that this initiative is actually on the new governor's budget. And this was some news that we got as of Friday. And so the 28 million, yes. And so it's a high price tag, but I think the value we're going to get from that and the return on the investment for what we're going to do for our communities and our students far outweigh that. So yes, we're excited about that. And so moving on to a couple more, I won't get into all of these, but I did want to talk on the SFCC portal. So thank you to everyone that submitted the naming. We asked you all to name the portal. We came down to 3 finalists. Cahalan selected SFCC Connect, and that was the final decision that we moved forward with. 1 point on the portal is this is where the documents, the official documents for business functions reside. So travel reimbursement, any kind of those HR forms, finance forms, this is where you get it. So I know we email forms sometimes there's hard printed documents inside the offices. Please use this as the official place to get that up. So I am running short on time here. I just wanted to touch on this, the Schedule Builder Live. So talking about modernization and how can we get students to be able to get to what they need to get to much more efficiently. This is one example we brought in and went live on October 2018. I know many of you have already used it, many students used it, but I want to encourage you to continue to promote this. This is an efficient way for students to build their schedules outside of the old SSB. So this does things like they have multiple ways to identify the courses they want to take. They can go and enter their personal commitments, daycare, breakfast, dinner, whatever it's going to be, work commitments. And then after selecting their courses and their commitments, they hit Generate Schedule. It shows them different alternatives. And you can see this visual representation here of what the schedule may look like. So they know what they want, they do the registration, they move forward. So again, just a nice, easy, student-centered way to get them to register for their classes much more efficiently. So this is a big win for SFCC that came live this last semester. Something going live this year and is the electronic catalog. We have an electronic catalog team. All right, yes, it does deserve that. Yes, absolutely. Again, just ways we're looking to modernize and help get what our students need much more effectively. So there's a whole team on this, and thank you all to putting all the effort. But basically, it's going to be available from the public website. You go in, you select the program that you want. It's going to be delivered. No more jumping around a PDF, trying to figure out what it is you need to go to. Here we got the business administration page that's loaded. The same content that's on the print catalog, but on the bottom, you'll see that there's the general education requirements, there's English. And then on that, you just click on one of those courses and it expands, gives you the description, the prerequisites, everything right then and there. You close it closes it up, and you could continue to go throughout the program course requirements. So it is, it's a big win for the college again. I don't know, do we have time for questions, or we want to address questions after? Okay, I guess I'm sorry, no questions at this point. Feel free to come over to my office anytime. Again, thank you all. I look forward to working with you this next semester, and I appreciate the collaboration that we've had.
Thank you, Jeremy.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jeremy. Oh, shit. I've got too many mics.
Okay.
I know I do, but I turned this one off.
Yes, perfect.
Sorry. Too many mics, but I don't know. There's another one somewhere. I don't know what's going on. Anyway. It's an IT. I think I should take this one off.
Apologies.
Now it doesn't work there. So sorry. Just wanted to move on to some other excellent news. We got that bond money a year ago in February. It was $17 million. We were able to draw down $9.5 million in June, July. So we were ready to spend it for the projects that we promised the community and you, faculty and staff and students. So 9.5, and that 9.5 funded the $7 million for the Automotive Technology Training Center, $1 million for the Fitness Education Center, $1 million for technology upgrades, and $500,000 for learning space improvements. Remember, we still have another $7.5 million that we're going to draw down this next summer. But we're on track with our projects, and that's what we've been working on this year. I wanted to start with this fitness center. I thought it was so important because there's so many community members that utilize it. And I formed a internal local bond advisory committee to help us stay on track, including a faculty member, Catherine Fox-Ellert, who has all kinds of background on bids, and thank you. She was fabulous, as was every other single person who was on there, from Nick to Margaret to Jeremy to your team, Uta. Oh yeah, Uta with the fitness center, absolutely. She kept us on track. So this is part of what we purchased with $1 million, and we've totally renovated it so that it's so much more updated and beautiful and attracts our folks that come and use it. It's state of the art. We have an ultraviolet system in the pool so you don't have to use as much chlorine, so it doesn't smell, to sanitize it. New offices for adjunct faculty and staff, a new student lounge area, new carpeting and new furniture, new exercise equipment, gym and aerobics floors are refinished, new paint, new storage area. I have to say that Palms was fabulous in supporting the process because they did a lot of the work themselves so we could save money, like all the painting. Beautiful. We had a tour. This is the desk that better accommodates students with different disability needs. And the murals, wait till you see the mural over there. It just is beautiful. It just shows all students and folks in all different kinds of active roles. It's fantastic. They did an amazing job installing it. Anyway, that was just some of the fitness center. Other things the bond money went for, including learning space and main campus improvements, from the testing center to our workforce solutions office, to have more funds available for student training. And there you see the other. We also, the greenhouse and controlled environment. We had the greenhouse, it was a shell. We got money from the state for the exterior, but we used our local bond money for the interior. So that's ready to go and is going to be used this semester by our students and our new technology staff member. And then, of course, our automotive training center we've got Greer Stafford Architects to design the new automotive technology training center. The design work is underway, and actually I checked with Henry this morning. We're going to move that date up to spring of 2020 rather than summer of 2020 to have it completed. We hope to break ground in this May and have to beforehand. Yay, it's going to be great to have the new center. And Henry, you want to talk about other PALM projects that the bond money is funding?
Sure, thank you. Thank you all for all of your support and participation and involvement in these projects. It takes a community, so thank you all so much. By the way, my name is Henry Mignardo. I'm the Executive Director of Plant and Operations Management. So for those of you that don't know me and our teams, it includes the custodial teams, the grounds teams, all of the maintenance team, and our project management and construction teams. So if you have any questions or if you need any support in those areas, please come and see the Palms office, and Melissa, our office coordinator, can help, and the rest of us can help you with that as well. Thank you, Dr. Cervantes, board members, community, students, and of course all of you. These projects couldn't be accomplished without all of you. So thanks again for all of your support. We're also upgrading our wastewater treatment plant. As you know, that plant's about 30 years old, and in fact, we did some major upgrades, but our long-term plan is perhaps to transition our wastewater to ranch lands, which is about a mile down the road. It's part of Rancho Viejo, and that will be a regional facility, so we're working on projects now to transition our wastewater in that direction. We also did major dirt room renovations, and thanks to the master program, that's about a 3,500 square foot space that, as you can see, there is just a beautiful space, and we're in the process now of adding audio video to that space as well. Roof renovations, we had major roof renovations that we just completed. It covered the Hemis rooms, the bookstore, the culinary areas, physics labs, part of OIT, and all the 400 offices and classrooms. That whole roof section was redone. That's it. So we'll hand it on to finance.
Hello, everyone. Good to see everyone today. My name is Nick Tejas. I'm the Vice President for Finance and CFO here at the college. And just wanted to let you know that there has been an enormous amount of work that has gone into improving the financial health here at SFCC over the past 5 years. When I joined the college over 4 years ago, there were a lot of challenges ranging from a special audit being conducted by the Office of the State Auditor, cash balances at seriously low levels, SFCC being put on fiscal watch by the New Mexico Higher Education Department, and also an IRS audit, to name a few. In 2015, at the time of the HED fiscal watch, the areas of concern for the department were related to the chart of accounts and banner. It had not been reconstructed. I know that that had been in the works for some time, up through 2015. This added risk to the college not having the ability to accurately report financial transactions, among other things. Another issue was fiscal staff didn't have the training to utilize banner, internal controls being weak, and internal controls really are checks and balances. The college's purchasing system was decentralized, and fast forward to today, I submit to you, SFCC, that we have corrected all of the previous HED concerns, and we are on the right track. I bring you to the slide behind me and on the overheads. And this slide shows you how far we've come. The colors on the chart represent different types of financial findings, audit findings, which are not a good thing. The purple coloring is the material weaknesses, which is a severe sort of auditor assessment. And significant deficiency is also another serious audit assessment. Other matters is less severe, and the blue coloring are those findings that do not rise to the level of significant deficiency, a little bit lower on the scale. And in FY12, you see that we had 21 audit findings, 7 of those being very serious, 9 having been the significant deficiency in that category. Moving on, we reduced that to 10 findings and 13, so forth and so on, removing material weaknesses and significant deficiencies through FY16, where we had 2 findings. And the audit that we submitted for last fiscal year for FY18 had 0 findings in it. That is something we're really proud of. This really affects everybody in this room. It affects everybody at the college, and also the communities confidence in the fiscal operations and oversight of taxpayer dollars. So this is something that we're really, really proud of. While we're on the right track, moving on, there are still some challenges that remain financially. The first is really tuition and fees revenue for this year. As you can see from the slide, the orange bar represents this year's budget amount of tuition and fees. That's our anticipated amount of tuition that we were expecting. The purple bar represents last year's actuals that we received through the end of the year. And the smaller, darker orange square shows what SFCC has received this year to date through fall, and some through spring. Back in the summer, revenues were $499,000, which were about $85,000 lower than what was anticipated. In the fall semester that just recently ended, revenues were $1.7 million, which was quite lower than last year, and $200,000 lower than what we had anticipated for this budget. In the spring, we are projecting that revenues will not meet targets, and the targets for the entire year will have to be reduced. And so the outlook for credit tuition for the end of this fiscal year is expected to be about $580,000 lower than what we originally projected earlier in the year. SFCC's cash balances, cash reserves, are also an area that still needs improvement. The cash reserve slide represents the cash balances over the last 6 years. The darker orange bars shows the actual cash reserve balances over the years, and the lighter shading shows the goal of having 3 months of payroll in reserves. Cash reserves are especially important for unforeseen events, like this year's federal government shutdown. There's no need to worry. The shutdown hasn't seriously affected SFCC at this point, but we are watching it very carefully. And as you can see in the slide, in FY15, we were down to about $700,000 in available cash reserves. That's very, very low for an institution that has an operating budget of in the upwards of $60 million. And so you can see that we have made improvements over 16 and 17 and very slow improvements. In FY18, you can say see that we're making a lot of progress towards that goal of having 3 months of payroll and reserves, and the goal is about $7.4 million. We are currently beginning the work related to development of the FY19, FY20 budget that is due to the state on May 1st, 2019. Currently, the expenditure budget is on target. FY19, the budget adjustment request that we normally do through the fiscal year will be completed in February to adjust fund balances in accordance with the audited financial and approved financial statements. And we will adjust revenues and expenses as necessary. The final budget adjustment request for FY19 will be completed in April, and again we'll review revenues and expenditures in amounts to reflect the actuals that are occurring at the college. For the FY20 budget, it is again hard to believe it's FY20, but that development has begun, and we are offering training sessions this week and encourage the campus to attend those trainings. Please check the Convocation schedule for the times of those budget trainings. All budget requests must be in alignment with the college's strategic plan. And just some of the initial concerns for the FY20 budget will be increasing the fringe rate to accommodate the Educational Retirement Board retirement plan costs for the employer. That means SFCC's contribution. There's legislation in place that would raise that rate. And then the other issue of declining tuition and fee revenue. I can tell you that the local mill levy revenues that the college receives, due to the changes that we made earlier in the year when we had a bond election and a change on a ballot question for the mill levy to the college, that has given some real strong signs in terms of added revenue to the college. So we're watching that closely. And please, everyone, if you can, attend the Financial Oversight Committee meetings. We talk in a lot greater detail about college finances. And the next meeting is scheduled for this Thursday, January 7th in room 488. What did I say? 17th. In room 488 at about noon. And that will be held in room 488 in the Health and Sciences building. The FOC meets prior to every governing board meeting. I'd also want to thank everybody in this room because everybody had a part in the improvements to the financial health of the institution. It takes, again, it was said earlier, entire community to do these types of things. What has been done has been a transformational type of effort, and I'm so excited and happy to be looking towards the future here. I also want to especially thank my finance colleagues who have faced incredible challenges and have overcome those challenges by never giving up and also working together to really strengthen the college. Also, thanks goes out to the OIT office for your great support and assistance with addressing Banner finance challenges over the last few years. They were instrumental in the work to improve the financial situation here at the college. And with that, that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being our financial leader and for guiding us in the right direction. And thanks to your team also, as you said. Thanks. Just wanted, and I had mentioned this before, but I wanted you to see our legislative requests for this year that we submitted to legislators last week. Last year we had 3 legislative requests, and our legislators approved them all, sent them forward to the governor, the former governor, and she vetoed 2 of the 3 requests. So we are resubmitting those 2 requests. That includes the Health Sciences Simulation Lab and the Controlled Environment Agriculture Program. The Health Sciences is $130,000. The controlled environment needs are $150,000. And then because of our emphasis on emergency preparedness, lockdown safety and security, we have another request for $382,000. So the total 2019 legislative request is just over $662,000. Our legislators were very supportive, and they're, as you heard Jeremy mention, that we're included in the ERP and MICC request, but it isn't only for SFCC, it's for all the independent colleges. And as Linda also said, there's like $28 million in that, but that's not part of our own needs. And we were encouraged to submit more requests that would go under the governor's capital requests. And we have a plan to submit for that also. Now I turn it over to Terrence Donaldson, our HR Executive Director, who will talk briefly about Professional Development Day.
Welcome back. Thank you all for making it in on this beautiful snow morning. Thank you for your agility. I'm Terrence Donaldson, Executive Director of Human Resources, also known as TD. I wanted to touch base on Professional Development Day, coming up October the 8th. Oh, I'm sorry, March the 8th. And you'll see why October is on my mind in just a minute. The format is similar as it has been in the past. The keynote presentation during the morning and breakout sessions during the afternoon. Our theme for Professional Development Day will be best practices for improving the student experience. And our focus in doing so will be the tools and technology to improve the student experience. Now, this theme and focus was the result of feedback from you. Feedback that requested applicable, practical skills training that could be utilized and applied in the day-to-day operation of higher education. So I want to, one, thank you for your feedback and also let you know that we will continue to solicit your input as it relates to best practices, tools, and technology for our upcoming Professional Development Day in March. Now, next, I have the pleasure of introducing our next presenter. Many of you are familiar with her as well as her team. Erin and the Sky Center team presented the keynote at our last Professional Development Day, which was in October. The Sky Center was very, very well received and appreciated, and we've been partnering with them ever since. The Sky Center has been serving the behavioral health needs of families and youth in our community by cultivating well-being in the face of diversity for over 20 years. Increasingly, they are being called upon to enable organizations and communities throughout northern New Mexico to better understand signs of crisis and better respond. So she's here with us today to continue the important discussion on well-being. Please join me in welcoming Sky Center Program Director, Erin Sibley Dorwald.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me back. So when I left you all in the fall, you all got cards that you were handed out. Do you remember that? And everybody was asked or invited to think of some intentions after the experience of the day. And it feels appropriate around New Year's resolution time to remind ourselves of some of those intentions. So just a quick show of hands, who followed through on just personally on some insights from that day? Did it become part of your new way forward? Show of hands. So that's maybe like 10%. Well, yeah, so maybe let's give that one a try now. As I was listening, when I walked in, it was the active shooter drill. And it kind of amazes me that we are living in the kind of world where we need a drill like that, but we are. I was invited to come to the executive leadership team meeting after our group, our time together in October, and they were discussing the active shooter drill at that time in the same meeting, and it was right after the incredibly catastrophic forest fires in Northern California. And I had just heard the mayor of Paradise talking about how they had done a drill to get everybody out of town in anticipation of that kind of catastrophic fire. So I just wanted to bring that up because I was listening and I was getting a little bit triggered and listening to the ideas of how that day may be traumatic for all of you here on February 13th, but also just wanting to underscore how preparedness can ease anxiety on the flip side, and also the idea of practice, because that's at the core of what we do. Practice as antidote to the traumas that we're exposed to the ways that we are practicing anxiety, to the ways that our students are exposed to trauma, to invite us all leading up to February 13th to think about those intentions that came up on October 19th as antidote, as ballast, as grounding, as we sit in the incredibly anxiety-producing realities of our contemporary world, knowing that we need to prepare for worst case scenarios that none of us want to prepare for, and having the kind of grounded nervous systems that we will need to be able to face those challenges. So just to remind you of the kind of practices that we tried on for size that day, we have developed a toolkit for well-being that is comprised of 6 spokes, and we broke out into experiential exercises to give everyone a taste of that, to hopefully set some intentions, not only personally, but for the kind of practices that could be integrated, practical, and accessible to the entire Santa Fe Community College community. Those 5 spokes we came up with at the Sky Center as part of our work doing suicide prevention. These 6 spokes are resiliency practices that are in direct response to the risk factors for suicide. So just to run down that list briefly, a review. Social connection, building community and finding ways to build community in an ongoing basis through faith communities, through groups. Social connection is the antidote to isolation and to a sense that we don't belong. Self-regulation, practices that develop our ability to manage our moods, to help bring our behavior online, appropriate to our context, even if that context means we have to get out of harm's way. That is an antidote to impulsivity and to doing things rashly without bringing our reasoning, our judgment, our rational brain online, something that we need in crisis. Mindful awareness, the ongoing practice of bringing our attention into the present moment so that we can cope with what's at hand, to have that muscle of present awareness so that we're not wandering into unhelpful situations in the future, which can be associated with anxiety, a risk factor for suicide, or wandering into the past, which can be associated with depression. An ongoing practice of building that muscle of being right here, right now, can be very helpful in our regular lives as well as in moments of crisis. Physiological well-being, very cool to see the new fitness center. That is amazing, and making health, physical health, a priority and accessible to everyone. Super important on an ongoing basis so that we're not needing to take the car of our body into the shop for an overhaul to get fixed, but that we have shock absorbers along the way to be able to take the bumps of the rocky road of life. The importance of paying attention to getting enough rest, nutrition, hydration, exercise, and I think really importantly, proper and adequate health care. Optimism is the antidote to hopelessness. Having means to cultivate hopefulness and a focus on the future, practices for that ongoing ability. And the 6th spoke is nature. Access to getting outside, access to remembering our own nature, our own truths, antidote to a lack of purpose and meaning, a sense that we're disconnected to the rhythms of life, to the rituals of life. Spending time in nature can reconnect us. So those are the 6 spokes. As a result of that professional development day in October, we were invited back to talk to the leadership team and talk about ways this could be implemented. And one of the lessons learned from that day is that there were things that were already happening at the community college that fell under the umbrella of these 6 spokes, but that weren't widely publicized or people maybe just didn't know about. There were already yoga classes happening. There were already weekly walks that were happening. And there were already meditation groups that were happening. The second thing out of that meeting, I think we came maybe in November to follow up, was an intention by the administration, by the executive leadership team, which I think is really groundbreaking for an organization to say systemically, we want to make these well-being practices accessible to our entire community. And I feel like it's important to say this out loud because when I looked at the survey that we did, that thank you for filling that out because it was super helpful, many of them just said, this was great, but I don't know. There was some healthy skepticism. I don't know if this will really be a value that is supported by the community. I don't know if we'll really get to do this stuff. And I had the privilege of following up with the executive leadership team who really want to make it a part of the community. So I want to say that out loud. And they named, and I don't know if this has been publicized yet, or maybe that's part of why I'm here, but the Toolkit for Kindness and Wellness is an initiative supported by the leadership team so that this framework can be supported in an ongoing, accessible way to the entire community. So yeah, here up on the wall, part of your Toolkit for Kindness and Wellness are some of the opportunities that are ongoing, accessible, drop-in, free meditation in the planetarium on Tuesdays. I was lucky to lead the mindfulness activity in the planetarium. Such a great place to go in and sit and take a break, even if practicing that kind of contemplative practice isn't for you. Just having a pause with the stars overhead is kind of special in the middle of the day. Yoga in the boardroom, Wednesdays at noon, and then the Friday walks will be ongoing. So an invitation to join in. This hits a lot of those spokes that I mentioned. And then looking forward, we've been invited to come back for the Professional Development Day in March. And we're going to be essentially providing a booster to what we provided in October. A lot of the feedback said, I just wish I had more time in my breakout session. I wish I had time. I wish I had the opportunity to try on the other breakout sessions for size. So we'll be back to provide that opportunity. The focus of our workshop is enhancing professional resilience. So it's a continuation of the conversation that we began in October. And we are also available with other workshops that we have provided a listing of to Terrence, to your community, that is available if you would like to bring us into your classrooms or you have an idea of another time that you would like to bring us back. The Sky Center is available and eager to do that. I don't know who is here today, but we started a conversation with a couple teachers who wanted to invite us back in the fall, and we weren't able. So I'm just saying this to the room. Let's get that on the schedule if you're here. And we didn't make that happen, so that the dialogue is open. Our services are available. We'll definitely be back in March. And I am also available to anyone in this room. Would you like to contact me for further questions or concerns? So optimism, that is definitely a part of what's happening with the Toolkit for Kindness and Wellness. The idea that this community can be one that walks the walk of safety, kindness, wellness, and health on a systemic level. So thanks for having me back.
Thank you, Erin. And we did begin some of these, the first two, late in the fall semester. It was a busy time as we were ending the fall semester, but here they are again beginning next week. And Mary, you have a question? Oh, okay. Office of Student Development has created a meditation mindfulness room also.
Right, and we haven't figured out the hours yet, but once we get the hours going, it is going to be available to students and employees. Just
Okay.
cell phones at your desk, because we're going to go in, we got some music, we got nice light, soft light.
Thank you.
Come down.
Thank you so much, Mary, for extending it even further. And yes.
In addition to the campus-wide employee professional development opportunities, I want to remind folks that the foundation has generously offered $30,000 of funding for individuals who want to pursue more focused or targeted professional development in their fields. And we have had fewer applications. We have a lot of money to give away. What's been happening is that the people who have used our funds before are reapplying because they found that it was a fairly reasonable process to be able to travel, to interact collegially with professionals in your individual fields, to attend conferences, to bring speakers here. And it puts the committee, which includes both faculty and staff, and is supported completely by Margaret and right now shepherded by Terrence. It puts us in an awkward position because we want to spread the money campus-wide. Right? And if it's the same folks taking advantage of the opportunity because other people are not putting in applications, then we kind of get a bad rap. But we want everybody to be able to use these funds in your own professional development. Look at the areas that your department or yourself really wants to grow in or needs a different kind of targeted professional development. And one of my roles on the committee is to coach people in filling out the forms, because it is like preparing a grant proposal, and we are asking for outcomes that relate to the strategic plan of the college. And that's been a little daunting for some folks who haven't really been as familiar with some of that language or those documents. So my name is Shuli Lambden. I'm in the English department, if you don't know me. And if you're interested in this at all, please give me a call and I can sit with you and help you coach and help coach you, support you in filling out the documentation and so on. I just saw Jake, who went to, or that didn't happen, or that did happen. It did happen. The welding folks got to go to a really important training for higher level certification for the educational program. There's a lot of opportunity through this fund, and we haven't gotten as many applications this year as we have in the past. So please give me a call if you want to ask about that, and I'll help walk you through the process.
Or you can also call Terrence in HR and he'll help you with the process as well. Thanks, Shuli, for encouraging all to apply. So I mentioned earlier that our Higher Education Learning Commission accreditation portfolio is due March 1, and here is Jill and I think Yash to update you.
Hi, if you don't know me, I'm Jill Carlson, Director for Assessment and Accreditation.
Yash Marimoto from OPI.
As Cecilia mentioned, our self-study is due March 1st. We are collecting information. I particularly want to thank all of the faculty, particularly the chairs, directors, and lead faculty who have worked so hard in program review and assessment. Those are really key components, and you've been very helpful. We do have 2 drop-in sessions this week for you to post your assessment data. If you have something going on campus that's really wonderful, send me an email. Let me come interview you about it. It may or may not make it into the portfolio because we have to answer questions, but we don't know everything that's going on. So it's really important that we tell our story well.
And in addition to that, one of the things that the accrediting body is really looking for is the evidence, right? So I know we are doing good work, but we need to not only do the good work, but need to demonstrate that we're doing the good work. And so one of the things we're going to be asking all of you is say, hey, we know you're doing this particular project to help students, stay in school, or hey, I know you're doing this thing in classrooms. We just need to demonstrate, we need to show them, the accrediting body, the people who come and review these documents, that we're actually doing it. So when we ask, we appreciate if you could make that a priority to respond to us. We have a pretty short deadline from this point on. You can see it's March 1st. That's less than 2 months from now. And so we're almost at a finishing point, so we ask for your help.
And if you want an analogy, this is like writing a doctoral dissertation about the college every 4 years. It is really a major undertaking. I want you to know that we will receive a formal feedback report. The last feedback report we received is on the website in the accreditation section. We will come around to shared governance and various groups to share that with you and let you know the results that we get. Beyond that, next year, February 17th through 19th, we will have accreditors here on campus. They will send a team probably of 5 people. There'll be a variety of sessions over 2 days. That will include an all-staff session with no administrators allowed. It will include an all-faculty session. It'll include a number of specialty sessions. And so we're going to spend a lot of time over this next year getting us ready for that. It's really crucial that we do that well. You've all heard about Highlands and Luna and the kinds of things that can happen. So we need to be sure during this next year that we're prepared for that visit. And again, anything that you can do to help us as we go through trainings and those kinds of things, we really appreciate.
Thank you so much, Jill and Yash. They have been working really, really hard. They were here throughout the winter break. They asked special permission to come in and write and write and write and write. And I really thank you for leading us and making sure that our accreditation work is accurate and what needs to be so that we can get reaccredited. I have no doubt that we will do very well, but we do need everybody's support. Thanks again, both of you, and everybody else who's contributing. Next on the agenda is just a welcome from our college governance groups. And actually, there's one important member who hadn't told us that she was going to be able to make it. Noemi, are you here still? Véngase. Let's start with our student. We didn't have her picture up, but we want her to greet us. Noemi Bojorquez Flores, our student government president.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome. SGA is very excited to continue working in collaboration with the administration, faculty, and staff and adjunct faculty. We thank you all for everything that you are doing. Also, sorry, I had to take notes. SGA is excited to be back. We're motivated to begin the semester very strong and end it very strong. It is our last term as SGA executive team. So we are in the lookout for a new executive team for fall 2019, spring 2020, and senators. So if you guys have any students in mind, please send them our way. There is an application that they have to fill out. Also, January 23rd is our meet and greet. It's from 11:30 to 1. So we would like to invite all of you, and we will be reaching out to our students. We will be giving away free popcorn. Come and get free popcorn. I know everybody loves popcorn, right? And then I think, and the meet and greet will happen at the campus center. So once again, thank you all. Let's all keep that motivation going for our student success. And here it is to another semester. Thank you. Who's next? Zuby Wilson.
Thank you, everybody. Look forward to another great semester. Going to keep this short. After this, we'll be having the Faculty Senate meeting in room 221. We're switching rooms with Staff Senate. They'll be in 219. We'll be in 221. I want to thank Sydney Scher, who's been acting as our secretary. Her schedule is too full this year to be able to accommodate the ATA for her for being continuing as secretary. So we're looking for a new secretary. So if anyone is interested or knows someone who might be interested, we'll be looking for a secretary for this semester. She is coming today to take notes for us to help us through this first meeting, but after that. We're also looking for departmental reps, and so hoping that in your departmental meetings, there will be looking for people who can serve as departmental reps. Everybody is welcome to come and participate fully and vote at Senate meetings. The departmental reps are more so there's a communication trail between if everyone can't come from your department, someone who does come can help you let you know what's going on in Senate and bring your opinions into the Senate meetings. We're also going to be working on all the committees and what the representation is. If you are representing faculty on a committee, we'd like you to let us know so that we can maintain that. And we're also doing a lot of work this semester to complete our faculty handbook as part of the portfolio for the accreditation. So if anybody's interested in being part of that process, we really need help. It's a very important document to help us understand what our roles are, and it will help with onboarding of new faculty as well.
Hi, everybody. Oh, yeah, okay, less loud this time. So I'm Megan. I'm also co-chair of Staff Senate. I'm here with Jill. Please come to our meeting, which will be directly after this meeting. We will be in room 219, switching with...
And for those of you who are staff like me who need to eat, go grab your lunch and then come to the meeting. We can all eat together.
Just to really quickly recap the things that we've been up to this past year and what we plan on getting into in this upcoming year. We helped implement the new collaborative annual employee review with HR.
We're continuing to collaborate with HR on a new compensation and classification study that will be taking place very shortly. They do have Megan as a rep on one of those committees, and that classification study is intended to be done in time for the 2020 budget. So an important move forward, hopefully for staff salaries. And
we're going to continue our work on our strategic planning for salary equity for all employees at Santa Fe Community College. So please come to our meeting so we can talk about our plans coming up.
Thank you. 219, bring your lunch.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Zubi and Noemi. So it'll be a busy spring semester. Here are some of the activities that are coming up. Of course, we won't be here on Monday because it's Martin Luther King Day, but our spring semester will begin a week from tomorrow, January 22nd. Oh, something new with our AARP tax assistance. We've had that program in place for many, many years, and we are moving the location to the Higher Education Center. So it won't be on campus. Thank you, Jenny, Nick, and many others who worked to move it over to HEC. Rebecca Estrada, before she left, she was instrumental. And we have a, an agreement with AARP, a lease, so that everybody knows exactly what his or her role is, because it was a little loosey-goosey before, but it's very clear, it's all in writing. So that's going to be a huge help, and I think it will help the, with the fitness center, because we had so many users, you know, of the fitness center, exercises, equipment, pool, etc., and they were sort of kind of getting in the way with the individuals that came in to use the tax-free services, not tax-free, the free tax services, excuse me. And I did want to say that our students do play a role in that. They work with our faculty member, Megan, another Megan, who I don't, let's see, I have her last name here, what's, Hawkins, Megan Hopkins. It's here, but I just hadn't gotten to it. And they assist in filling out the tax forms with those individuals that come to use it free of charge. So that is a change. And everything else there that you've heard about. But today actually is the first day that the fitness center has reopened. So it's very exciting in the new and improved, beautiful fitness center. Thank you, Ute. Thank you, Herman. Thanks to everybody over there who's worked so hard, as well as all of POM, Andrea Mueller that helped lead all the contractors that came in and worked. It was a huge team effort, and wait till you see it. It's beautiful. Let's see. I think we are at the end of our program. Any questions and answers that you might have before we break? Yes, Marcy.